What's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. My name is Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, coming to you from Budapest, Hungary. Today is September 26th, Friday, 2025, and I'm here with my beautiful wife. Say hi, boo.
Hi everyone, this is Akti and I'm from Turkey.
And today I got the news of something that happened yesterday that was a major event for people that are concerned about liberation, fighting oppression, and liberation for all people across the planet. One of our heroes passed away, the woman that you see on the screen, Assata Shakur, born 1947 and died in 2025 of this year on September 25th. Her daughter released a tweet. It says, Kakuya Shakur, at approximately 1:15 p.m. on September 25th, my mother, Assata Shakur, took her last earthly breath. Words cannot describe the depth of loss that I am feeling at this time. I want to thank you for loving prayers that continue to anchor me in the strength that I need in this moment. My spirit is overflowing in unison with all who are grieving with me at this time. Sending much love and appreciation to you, Kakuya Shakur. And, this information hit me hard because Assata Shakur is a woman that I could only hope to be. And I mean that in the fullest sense. Like, somebody might say, oh, you're a man, you shouldn't be talking like that. Like, I could only dream of living the life that this woman lived. You know what I mean? And dealing with the type of stuff she did. And recently this year, we read her book. And so both of us read the book. I read it first. This is a book that I've been meaning to read for a long time in my life. And it's so crazy that this year I read it. And recently you just finished it as well.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to take this time, with you to, talk about the book that we read and, also, just memorialize Assata Shakur's life and, what she meant to people, what she meant to us, how the book impacted us. This is going to be our first book review that we've ever done together, and hopefully we do many more. So I just want to know, what did you think about, the news of hearing of Assata's passing, and in general, how did you think about her, feel about her?
Yeah, of course it's really sad because she's such a influential figure, I think, especially for Black Americans, but for all people who stand up for peace and humanity and equality. And I was just happy that she was able to pass away in peace in Cuba, that she didn't have to endure the violence of the United States anymore in her later years in life. I was just hoping that she was at peace. She was with her family, with her loved ones, and that she was. I think she would be very satisfied with her life because she lived such a full life. And yeah, I think she would be proud, which I think all of us are.
Yeah.
With her. So yeah, definitely sentimental, but yeah.
It's hard to hold back the tears because when I think about people that have influenced the choices I've made in my life, the primary one first would be Malcolm X, and then second would be Assata Shakur, because just the story of her, saying I reject this entire society that brainwashes us from the moment we're born to the day that we die, that we live in the greatest country in the world, the richest nation in the world, the freest nation in the world, the nation that does the most for democracy and all this stuff. She rejected all of that, and it's so thorough how she does it, especially in her book when I read it. So even though I read her book this year, I knew about Assata Shakur's story, because one of my favorite rappers of all time is Tupac Shakur, who is his auntie as well. And, hearing about how she bravely stood up against the system while she was in it and how she was able to escape it and maintain her freedom outside, it's so inspiring to me and touching to me. And I don't even think, I don't know if she ever realized how much she had an impact on people that she never even met, or that she'll never get the chance to meet now that she's gone on to the ancestors, because of the words she put down and the choices she made in her life that are so profound. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Her struggle, as I was reading her book, that was the first time I kind of got to know her in depth, because she tells obviously about her whole life. But yeah, like there were so many moments where I was like, this is kind of insane how she's able to stand up still from
Hmm.
despite like everything that she's been through, because I just was putting myself in her shoes and I was thinking like, I don't think I would be able to hold up in that situation.
Yeah.
And she just had such strength and love in her heart for
Hmm.
the movement, for the
Yeah.
revolution, that she just like kept going no
Yeah.
matter what happened. And especially during at a time where I feel like things were more violent against Black people in America.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I said earlier, like, I could never even be half of the woman that she is, it's because in this book, when she writes about her incarceration, she has to do like surgery on herself because like the doctors in the hospital are actively trying to harm her or not give her proper medication. They put her in prison in solitary confinement with men. You get what I'm saying? Like that's hella dangerous and hella reckless. And in the beginning opening chapters of the book, she's talking about, police officers doing like mental interrogation with her. That's damn near torture, putting guns in her face, threatening to kill her all throughout, the text that she writes about her prison experience. It's like harrowing to the point that once again, she not only lived her life in rejection of the brainwashing that we get in America, but she actually writes in the book, oh, y'all think y'all free? Wait till you see how they treat prisoners. Wait till you see how you're not really innocent until proven guilty. Wait till you see how they treat a woman in the system, in the belly of the beast. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like most of us, regular citizens, maybe we encounter with the police once or
Mm,
twice. Maybe, I don't know, you had a parking ticket or something and you encounter with the police and you know how that feels like
mm,
that tension, that power imbalance that
yeah,
you have with the police. And yeah, it's just amazing the trauma that she endured. And on top of it, how she came out of that trauma is insane too. Like
mm-hmm,
it's like a superwoman power,
mm-hmm,
because how are you able to, this is what I was also thinking, like how are you able to take all of the things that happened to you, all of the trauma, and still come out of it with perseverance
mm-hmm.
and with passion?
It,
Like that's just insane
I
superpower.
think, Asada symbolizes one of the reasons we cannot be Afro pessimist or pessimist of any type to think that we're just going to be resigned to this world to live at the whims of the powers that be. You know what I mean? Like the way the book ends, one of the last lines in the books is like, "I got out of the place of the cowboys and the coppers." You know what I'm saying? It's like there is liberation. There is another side. There is a Cuba for all of us. And this is, Asada is also one of the reasons I also have a undying love for Cuba, because the Cuban people welcomed her in when she was falsely accused of murdering a New Jersey state trooper and stuff like that. It was Fidel Castro and the Cuban people that said, you're protected by us. We'll go to war against the most powerful nation in the world to protect you. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
After you suffered so much, you get what I'm saying? So I love that. I'll always have love for the Cuban people just for how they treated Assata Shakur, and I'll never forget that. And I'll make sure, as long as I'm alive, nobody will speak bad about Cuba around me for any reason because of how they treated Assata. You know what I'm saying? So,
But I think that's like kind of a pattern. Like, it's like if you do good, if you actually in your heart want the good for everyone,
hmm,
good people will find you and they will help you. And I feel like that was also kind of a pattern in her book,
hmm,
that she appreciated everyone that has helped her, like, her friends when she was getting, kind of paranoid because she was, being chased by the FBI. Her
hmm,
phones were being listened to and
hmm,
guys were following her.
hmm,
And when she thought, like, oh, I couldn't stay with this friend because she might be in danger, I
hmm,
might put her in danger. And her
hmm,
friend was like, no, are you silly? Like,
hmm,
you have to stay with me. You have
yeah,
nowhere else to go. It's like, if you have that in your heart, on the way, you will meet people who feel the same way and
yeah,
who will do the same sacrifices.
hmm,
And I just love that about her in the book,
hmm,
because like I'm not a believer, right?
hmm,
And I believe mostly like in human goodness and human kindness.
hmm,
And that's also how I experience most of the time the world.
hmm,
Like those people who also do good, want good for the world,
Yeah.
find me and I find them and we help each other.
Yeah, what you just said, like, throughout the book, she mentions all the women and men that she met along the way who helped her on her journey of, not only knowledge of self, but times when she was homeless, times when she didn't have a job. You know what I mean? And the book is so forward thinking in that it's so inclusive of all groups of people. Like in the book, there's a story of her meeting a trans character who helps her out. You know what I mean? Shows her the ropes when she first moves to New York. When she's in prison, she links up with this Puerto Rican woman who's also a liberation fighter, who's a political prisoner as well as, and yeah, basically everybody she comes across, whether they be good or bad, they teach her a lesson in life. But she always highlights the people that come from different backgrounds, whether they be white, indigenous, trans, gay, whatever, like that are good to her. You know what I mean? So that's a very good point you brought up. So yeah, Assata definitely symbolized so much good that can exist when you dedicate yourself to the life of revolution, and you're not going to be, beaten down so much that you just say, well, it's over. You know what I mean? What can we do? No, we always have an option. As revolutionaries, we always have a way to, stand up to these power systems, fight back, resist, and use our bodies and our lives as symbols for what we want this world to be like. And that's what I also, really, really like. Assata will never know how much she had an impact on people, like, for real, especially of those who really are committed to the struggle for Black liberation and want to see a better world for all people on the planet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And just, jumping off of what you said just now, like using our minds and bodies. As I was reading this book, also, like, it's a different time now, right? We have social media, and that's what we mostly use for, like, rebellion or I don't know, social issues. We post about it, we make videos about it and things like that, which is obviously completely fine, and it is a kind of a rebellion in a way, because now the world around us is putting I don't know, blocks in that as well. But also, like, just I think this book also made me appreciate, like, physical rebellion, that we actually have to come together physically and talk together physically and do things physically in order to also change things as well. Like, yes, online social media, that's fine and that's good, but that shouldn't be the only thing that we will be relying on like in the future.
And speaking of that, I think one of the reasons this book sticks out, not only to me, but so many other people, is that, all the times Assata got with different groups of people, whether that be the Black Panthers, the Black Liberation Army, the New Africa Movement, the Communists, the Socialists, the Democrats, the Black Republicans. Like, she met all types of people throughout this book, which is so interesting because she goes through, like, every phase. Like, you could see in an alternate timeline where Assata becomes Candace Owens. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a part here where she's hanging out with, like, Black bougie folks who only care about wearing expensive suits and eating at fancy restaurants, right? But, like, what I think you're alluding to or saying, and I agree with you as wholeheartedly, is that Assata was always trying to build community with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was always in unity with other people who were striving towards the same thing: liberation, advancement of the people, and, freedom. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, she was always trying to find, like, the similarities instead of the differences between her and, groups of people. She was, like, hunting down the Asian Communist Party.
Yeah. Hanging out with the young Africans. I think it was young Africans that put her on, like, Islam or communism or something like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah.
And one of the things I also appreciated, there's so much to talk in this book, so I'm just gonna, like,
we got all time because we want to do as much as possible to memorialize her. So just go.
I really admired, like, she was a researcher at heart. Like, she was, I don't know, like, sociologist, a psychologist at heart, because first of all, she educated herself a lot. And this book, that's why, like, I also liked her kind of coming of age times in the book, because she's also, like, you can see her developing critical thinking. She makes mistakes along the way. She believes in false stuff along the way. But then somehow with the right people's help, she finds like her way.
Mm-hmm.
And also, even with those people, she doesn't take anything just blindly. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she's always questioning. Even when she like finds herself in Cuba at the end of everything,
Mm-hmm.
she's like still basically doing social research, asking
Mm-hmm.
people like, have you experienced racism in
Mm.
Cuba? You know, all of those things.
Yeah.
Like, she never really stops thinking. Like, her brain is
Mm-hmm.
constantly active. She's always questioning whatever information is giving to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she isn't like that, like, in the beginning when she's younger, when she's a child, of course.
Yeah.
She develops that, like, later on, which was, like, really nice to see unfold in the book.
Very true. Like those, I said this in my original review of this book, that the parts that meant the most to me were the coming of age points, where she is that young child growing up. I believe it's in Georgia or South Carolina. I forgot the exact state, pardon. But yeah, like growing up there, experiencing racism firsthand, wanting to go to New York and just get out of the South and stuff like that. And then going up there and, getting swayed in so many different directions and being introduced to so many different ways Black folks live and stuff like that. And it was also interesting, her interactions with her cousin, I believe, Evelyn, right? Mm-hmm. And how Evelyn is like the total foil, the total opposite to Assata. She's like, Assata is Assata. There's nobody you can compare her to. And Evelyn is like Kamala Harris. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's a lawyer too.
She's a lawyer. Yeah. She's like, she wants to make the change within the system, brother. You know what I'm saying? And, it's interesting, like those parts where, she is sort of swayed back and forth by different sides. But then when she picks a side, the side of revolution, being for the people, advancing the cause, she stays on that side and is committed, even when her life is on the line. When her cousin Evelyn is saying like, yo, you might face life. You might get the death penalty. She's like, I'm not going to go down and just take a plea or just admit to something I didn't do. You know what I'm saying? So that's a very good point also you brought up as well. So yeah,
definitely. Like, I just admired her, thirst for information and for revolution, and also just thirst for curiosity for like humans. She wants to talk to everybody. She wants to explore all of her options because the world, the information, the connections, the conversations, they are free.
Yeah.
And she's like, taking as much of it in as possible, which was very cool to like read. Yeah,
like the parts when she said, I first got introduced to communism. She said, what I love about this book is it's so honest. She says, I was reading Marx, Engels, and all this stuff, and it was very fucking hard. And I didn't worship these guys like some Marxists do, but I get what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, she took the time to struggle with it. And also the other thing she imbibed too, because throughout the book, she's always reading a book. Every time she mentions something, she's reading something else, learning something else, and really becoming like an organic intellectual to figure out this world. And I do think like if you are an honest intellectual, an honest person who reads and does the research, you'll probably come to the same conclusions that Assata came to, in my opinion, or somewhere close. And that's what I also, got from this book, because like the way she writes so honestly about how she came to her conclusions makes me feel like it wasn't forced. She's not just putting on a show. Like, no, she is, Assata. Like the journey she took mentally took her to those places and those conclusions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Nowhere in this point, in any point in this book feels like, she's showing off or, she's fake or anything like that. And I think also one of my favorite parts, apart from like her coming of age parts, were the court scenes and sort of like the speeches that she made, because those are very powerful speeches that kind of like just lays out the structure of the United States and how it is oppressive for poor people, for Black people, for, everybody who's not white and rich, basically. And in your mind, you're like, there's no way they can't refuse this. Like, this is all true.
Right.
And then you sort of see how the system just pushes that over to the side and finds her guilty for a bunch of things that she didn't do.
And this was one of the critiques that I had of the in general in America, we have like this issue where everybody has a gun and guns are greatly tied to our identity. And that's how a lot of the Black Panthers and the Black Liberation Army were brought down. Huey didn't shoot no cop. Assata didn't kill no police officer. But because they always rode around in cars with guns, the police could say, oh, yeah, these people definitely killed the cops because they hate policemen. They hate the white man. They must obviously want to kill white cops. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's very unfortunate that she got framed for those murders. But like what you said about the speeches, nowhere in the speeches are they violent. I can't remember in the text reading, we need to violently overthrow the United States government. It was more like, no, the people have been oppressed, and there's only so far you can push people until they want to defend themselves and retake back what's been exploited from them. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why she posed a danger to like the power structure, is because her speeches, her arguments, her written work was so powerful, and her message was so resonant with all types of people, but especially with Black people. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking back in the book, and I remember her sort of feeling like lost and disappointed in New York, in Black Panthers in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And she was sort of like critiquing it that as well, which kind of like, I guess, brings back to the point where she was constantly critically thinking, like, even if it was her own people, her own group, she was like, no, this is getting out of hand because this is getting too violent, or this is like
too
getting
sexist.
Too paranoid, too sexist.
Yeah.
Why are you, arming up in the office, waiting for a police invasion? Like, this doesn't make sense, and things like that. I was kind of happy when she went to the West Coast, California, I think Berkeley. And then she sort of found her space there better, because I was kind of like disappointed with her, that she couldn't, like, there's a space where you feel like you're at the same page with a lot of people, but then you're also not.
Yeah. And once again, this goes to show like how honest and real she was, because she agreed with the Black Panthers. Like, yeah, we need to do for our own community and also defend ourselves as well. But yeah, like you mentioned, it started becoming too extra. And also one of the things in the book, like I mentioned, the Black Panthers were rampant in their sexism. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the critiques we can have on their organization. They had like one female leader. Her name was like Elaine Brown. But, just because you have a woman, that doesn't mean a system cannot be patriarchal and sexist and stuff like that. So there was a lot of stuff happening in different organizations that she is honest about critiquing them. And that goes to show that she was not only a good soldier when she needed to be, but also a good thinker and leader, and somebody who showed us in her words and in her life that just because people you agree with ideologically, that doesn't mean you have to follow them in every action that they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, she was a lot of things, There are great poems in this book. She was an artist. She was a poet. She was a writer, and I think also one of the parts in the book, like, she's also a feminist.
Yeah.
Like, maybe she didn't even know. I don't know if the term was coined back then.
Oh, definitely it was.
But I mean, I don't think she ever said in the book like she was a feminist, but she was like, I don't know. Now we were just watching Pop the Balloon. It's kind of embarrassing, but they were talking about, the masculine energy and the feminine energy and all of that stuff. And she was just a woman with a lot of power within her. So she didn't take shit from anybody, and maybe that made him intimidating by other men. And I don't know. I think also in the book, she definitely has like feminist moments where she's standing up for women and Black women and for herself. And there's also like, bits of trauma that she endured as a woman.
Because she got pregnant behind bars. They didn't want to help her with her delivery. She almost died giving birth to her baby. I think they even tried to induce an abortion for her while in jail.
Yeah.
So
she almost got raped when she was young.
There's
Yeah.
parts I forgot because I read this book a few months ago. Generally, I got many thoughts in my head, like you said about the book. But yeah, it's there's a lot in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It was like she wasn't even doing it on purpose to be like I'm a feminist, but that's just who she was.
Hmm.
Like she was like I'm human just as anybody else,
Yeah.
just as a white man or a black man.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna, defend that.
And stand up for myself.
Yeah.
I think Assata's feminism is very simple in that it's rooted in the idea that for women to be truly liberated and free, we have to overturn the systems that created the oppressed woman. And within her framework, we're fighting against the systems of capitalism that say men go out and work 8 hours a day, keep a wife at home pregnant, and she doesn't do any work at all other than have kids, feed them, get pregnant again, stuff like that. Like that's not work. You know what I mean? Like her framework, I think, like is very rooted in the idea that to really liberate women, it takes total revolution, not just the idea that women can get equal pay as men in the workforce, or women can just drive in Saudi Arabia. No, it's more than that. We need to overturn how we even look at the family, the structure, our society, the work that women do that goes unpaid. I would imagine that Assata would agree with all of that, and that's what, like you said, she doesn't explicitly say it in the text, but getting acquainted with her ideology and her ideas on revolution, that's how I think she would frame it as well. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, when I was reading the book, I just anytime like maybe she described her appearance, her style, and also her interactions with men, I just imagined her like as a woman who, it's like a natural woman who just has vibes, who just has so magical of an aura that like people are automatically attracted to her.
Mm-hmm.
She has her big hoop earrings or like big Africa earrings,
and the big afro and the gap tooth smile.
Yeah, and she's like, I don't know, dressing like a hippie or whatever. Like she's not a woman or she's not a human for other people, but she's a woman for herself.
Yeah.
Like she understands the sacred powerfulness of womanhood, like giving life.
Because like it's so crazy. If you give the argument to some man that says a woman can never be as strong as a man, motherfucker, do what Assata did. Get thrown into a motherfucking high security prison under the ground in isolation for months on end while you got cuts and bruises all over and your skin is falling off. Mm-hmm. Go through that, motherfucker, before you say a woman can never be as strong as a man. And then on top of that, she did go through like what we consider traditional womanhood by getting pregnant, giving birth, being a loving mother as much as she could by being separated from her child, because I think her child was born while she was in prison or something like that. So yeah, it was in both ways, however you want to slice it. Assata was like hardcore to the bone, you know what I'm saying? And I know we shouldn't frame masculinity as just being tough and dealing with pain, but if you judge it by that rubric, nobody could judge, like nobody matches the level of pain that she lived through, survived, and could tell the tale, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, like, I am, not a freedom fighter like Assata.
No.
And like you, I hope to be, I wish to be only. I can, but it's just not even that. Like I thought she was so relatable, like some of the things that she was thinking about and considering, like you just mentioned, her getting pregnant in
jail.
Yeah.
And she also, the way she got pregnant, I forgot the guy's name, but he was also facing life in jail too, because they were both revolutionaries. And he said, let's have this child as a revolutionary act.
Yeah.
Let's, I want you to get pregnant so that they can't stop the revolution. Right. Yeah. And Assata is like not down with that at first.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that.
Yeah.
Like, those conversations, those things were so real, because she was like, I don't know if I want to bring a child into this world. And especially in this position that I am in.
this condition. Yeah. And I think she also says a child is not a revolutionary act. Like just giving birth to a child that's not it. But yeah.
Yeah, like those philosophical conversations that she had with herself.
Yeah.
and with other people, I guess. Like they were so real. Like those are the things we talk about, you know. Do we want to have kids? Like how would that look like for us? And you know, what do we do with that kid? You know, do we just like indoctrinate him like Black Power? You know, but that's also a kid.
Yes, is the answer.
But it's also like it's not a project. You know, that's also a human being.
Yeah, the thing is with a person, you never know who they'll be. When Assata was born, Joanne Chesimard in Georgia and South Carolina, her parents didn't know she would grow up to be Assata Shakur. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't know what your child will do. So that's also what I would say about that. But yeah. But about the poetry, though, throughout the text, you know, Assata is related to possibly the greatest rapper of all time, who also was a poet as well. I mean, Tupac's poetry is so resonant. You know, people still say randomly, you know, a rose that grew from concrete. You know what I'm saying? So without, you know, reading from any of her poetry here, I do feel like all of the poems in here are so moving and touching. Some of them are very long, like Rhinoceros Woman, and others are like very short as well. But they all are very meaningful. I think the one that touched me the most is there one here about her mother or something like that. I forgot exactly. But I remember reading one of her poems and I was like, that was dope. That was dope. But there's a lot in here that are very dope. What did you think about her poetry?
Yeah, it was like, you know, she has that kind of a style that's very down to earth, that's very understandable, that's very sentimental and deep, like rap.
Yeah,
in a way, like, you know, it's not big fancy words. It's really like, you know, from the soil.
Yeah,
and I really liked it.
I think about her style of writing is also decolonialized because throughout the text, she doesn't write in perfect English grammar or spelling. America is spelled with 3 Ks and crackers got 3 Cs in them. You know what I'm saying? The police are randomly called pigs. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of slang in here. It's written like a text message from your woke auntie. You know what I'm saying? The whole book is written like a very long Tumblr post from your Hotep auntie. You know what I'm saying? Because the spelling is crazy, the writing is crazy. Some chapters feel like one big kiki. The other one feels like, bitch, you won't believe what happened today at work. You know? Boy, at trial, they tried to give me the electric chair, girl. And then another one is like Black revolutionary power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like full on, like just... yeah, militant. And so it's very dope, like how it oscillates and how it is written, like you said, from the soil. That's like the best way to describe it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my guess was that the way like she sort of, you know, writes wrongly those words, certain words only, you know, like America and all of that. It's like not giving power to those words. You know, that's how I interpret it. Like even her typing was revolutionary because like she never capitalized America.
Exactly.
So it's like I'm not giving a power to this word even.
Because if you just write America, people see that word and they have attachment. Like we give, you know, to symbols, we attach meaning to them. And so the meaning to America, to most of the world, still to this day, surprisingly, no matter what we do, is still mostly positive. I don't know how. But yeah, but like you said, by reframing that word, and you still know what it means, it gives it another context and another meaning, especially when you put those 3 Ks in it, you know? So, yeah. There's a lot to say about this book. I really could keep going for more hours, but it's so sad that, you know, the Shakur family is now gone, you know, like a family that blessed us with so much, from Tupac Shakur to Assata Shakur to Afeni Shakur, the first person to represent themselves in a federal trial and beat the fucking government. They said Tupac's mother was accused of terrorism, of trying to blow up a building. She stood up in court by herself, one black woman, and argued against professional lawyers from the United States of America and beat her case. It's the only reason she was free. The only reason Afeni was free. First person to ever do that. Man or woman. A black woman at that. That shows how amazing the Shakur family was. Tupac Shakur went on to be the most highest selling rapper of all time. Easily considered one of the best, if not the best rappers of all time, from his poetic prose. Until Eminem came.
No, you can't say that.
Assata Shakur was wanted by the FBI. I'm pretty sure if we still go on the FBI website right now, it says Assata Shakur wanted by the FBI. She was the most wanted woman for 40 years by the United States government and died free in Cuba after many presidents said, we want her back, we want her back. That's amazing. What an amazing fucking family. Mutulu Shakur, even though he's not as famous, he's the man that broke Assata out of jail. How do you break somebody out of an American prison? And he recently died 2 years ago, the uncle of Tupac Shakur. What an amazing, incredible family that is just like there's only a few people that are directly tied to that bloodline now. I think it's like Tupac's sister, she's still alive. And I believe also his sister has some kids as well. But, the Shakur name technically is gone. And that's a loss to the world. That's a loss to liberation for real. Like to art, to politics, to law, to liberation. Like in 4 major categories, we had 4 major figures, man, that are gone.
I think we have to change our surnames then.
To Shakur, I know, right? Well, Shaheen is close.
Okay. You will be Simon Shaheen.
Simon Shaheen. You can be Akdi Shakur.
How does that make sense?
But what do you think about the Shakur family now, no longer being with us?
The name not being with us, it is sad. It is definitely sad. But I also don't want to. The surname thing, it's patriarchal.
I understand it's patriarchal.
I don't want to go.
I understand it's patriarchal. I get that.
Yeah. So, I don't want to kind of, go around that issue. But I think, Assata's legacy and every Shakur's legacy is living very much alive today. And we still remember, all of them every day. I feel like whether it's Tupac, whether it's Assata, whether it's anyone else in the family.
Yeah.
So, their legacy will live on. The surname might not be alive, but the legacy will live on.
The legacy will live on.
Even, even if the name is forgotten, the idea will continue.
Yeah.
Maybe 200, 300 years from now on, they will be referred as the ancestors. And the spirit will still be there.
Absolutely. Because, you can kill a revolutionary, but you can't kill a revolution. And they got police, they got guns, they got money, but we got people. And that's what we need to take from those lives. And we also got the words as well. And you know what? When we're gone and all of us are gone that are watching this video right now, this book will still remain. And if the issues still remain, then the fight will still remain, and the legacy will still remain, and that hunger for liberation will still be there. So that's also what we should take.
Yeah, just, learn about Assata, learn about what the Shakur family did, teach your kids so that the legacy lives on. And that's all we can do. Honor what they have suffered through, what they have fought for, and try to live our lives as close to them as possible. Not in the way of go to jail, but defend yourself, your freedom, your humanity in every step of the way.
And you don't even have to. I would say also one of the biggest lessons from Assata is that, like you said, we can only hope to leave that impactful of a legacy on people that's so impactful. But I think one of her truest things is that you should just follow your gut and your instinct and live your life to the fullest. And I know that sounds so cliche, but man, who else did it to the fullest other than Assata? You know what I mean? She said, fuck all this. I'm getting out of jail. And I'm going to go to Cuba, baby. What? That's real. You know what I'm saying? And even back then, that sounded crazy because Cuba was a poor country. America has kept it poor with the embargo. But she decided, you know what? I'm going to live my truest life by being in the place that exemplifies my ideals the most. And that would be communist Cuba. You get what I'm saying? And that's why it's also so inspiring. So you don't have to, pick up a gun. You should not do any violence. You know what I'm saying? You should try to just live your life as close to your ideals as possible. You know what I'm saying? So if you really admire the ideals of, peace, serenity, meditation, you should be in Bhutan, or you should try to join your local, Buddhist temple or something like that. Or if you really are all about organizing and getting the people out there, you need to join like the DSA. You need to join your local chapter of like some organization that's making that movement. And, whatever you are about in life, unless it's Nazism or white supremacy, you need to chase that. You get what I'm saying? If it's those other things,
let's not give the wrong idea.
Yeah, unless it's Nazism or white supremacy, then maybe you should jump off that bridge.
Or Zionism.
Or Zionism, that too. Please don't do that either. But yeah, that's what I got from it. Anything else?
What I got from it, like I said at so many points in this video, is like, thinking, critical thinking, questioning things, and just having that thirst, that curiosity for people, for life, for freedom, and never forgetting that you're human and you can only be human if you show your humanity.
Exactly.
So that's what I got from her. Like, I just appreciated so much of her humanity, her humility, and yeah.
I think you had pulled out one of the poems here.
The last poem of the book.
The last poem of the book. I think this might be a good one to end on. Would you like to do the honors?
I was going to ask you.
You're going to ask me? Yes, please.
Should I?
Yes, please. The tradition. Carry it on.
Carry it on now. Carry it on. Carry it on now. Carry it on. Carry on the tradition. There were black people since the childhood of time who carried it on. In Ghana, in Mali, and Timbuktu, we carried it on. Carried on the tradition. We hid in the bush when the slave masters came holding spears. And when the moment was ripe, leaped out and lanced in lifeblood of would-be masters. We carried it on. On slave ships, hurling ourselves into oceans, slitting the throats of our captors, we took their whips and their ships. Blood flowed in the Atlantic, and it wasn't all ours. We carried it on, fed missy arsenic apple pies, stole the axes from the shed, went and chopped off master's head. We ran, we fought, we organized a railroad, an underground. We carried it on. In newspapers, in meetings, in arguments, and street fights, we carried it on. In tales told to children, in chants and cantatas, in poems and blues songs and saxophone screams, we carried it on. In classrooms, in churches, in courtrooms, in prisons, we carried it on. On soapboxes and picket lines, welfare lines, unemployment lines, our lives on the line, we carried it on. In sittings and pray-ins, and march-ins and die-ins, we carried it on. On cold misery nights, pitting shotguns against lynching mobs, on Brooklyn streets, pitting rocks against rifles, we carried it on. Against water hoses and bulldogs, against nightsticks and bullets, against tanks and tear gas, needles and nooses, bombs and birth control, we carried it on. In Selma and San Juan, Mozambique, Mississippi, in Brazil and in Boston, we carried it on. Through the lies and the sellouts, the mistakes and the madness, through the pain and hunger and frustration, we carried it on. Carried on the tradition, carried a strong tradition, carried a proud tradition, carried a black tradition, carried it on. Pass it down to the children, pass it down, carried on now, carried on to freedom.
All power to the people. Thank you, Acti. Thank you. Thank you for that. That was moving. That was powerful. My God, what a life. What a life. What a woman. What a powerful woman. What a real woman. What a beautiful woman. We miss you, Assata. We miss you. We miss you. We'll always love you. And peace to all of you out there who are watching this, man. Before I get out of here, man, we ain't going to cry on stream. But shout out to my wife, Acti. Shout out to all of you. Y'all be easy out there. All power to the people and peace. My God. I don't even know how to turn off the record. Let's go.